Hey everyone, it's Gavin Stevens. This week, B Black and I are talking about the Terry Gilliam interview he did in the Independent, where he's all for white supremacy. Well, he didn't say that, but I'm paraphrasing. But anyway, yeah, so here's the interview. Well, not the interview. Here's our discussion on the interview. Hope you enjoy. Remember, there's two parts of this episode. We're doing the first part now, and then the second part we talk about other things. We go off on a bit of a tangent. It's very funny, very interesting. You can get that on Patreon at patreon.com/The Uncolonized. $5 a month. You can get 2 episodes every week. It's a good time. We love doing it. Also, follow us on Twitter at The Uncolonized Podcast, on Facebook at The Uncolonized Podcast, and Instagram, The Uncolonized Podcast. Yes, so without further ado, here we go. B Black and I. Enjoy. Welcome to Uncolonized Podcast. I'm Gavin Stevens. Each week I'm joined by my friend B Black to have a conversation about race, politics, pop culture, all from a Canadian perspective. It's a cathartic, no-holds-barred conversation between two friends. It's like being in the barbershop, but we can't cut hair. Alright, so another week, another recording. I don't know when this is going up, so I'm not going to even mention. But yeah, B, you're with me. Here we are.
2020.
2020, yes. The second week of 2020, or third week. No, second week, right?
We're on the second, correct, yes.
Yeah,
correct, the second week of 2020. Mm-hmm.
So, what was I? Terry Gilliam from Monty Python fame. Monty Python. He did. What else did he do? He did Time Bandits. He did Brazil, which is a great movie. He has a lot of great movies under his belt. He did Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
I heard about that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You haven't seen that?
No, I haven't seen it. Everyone keeps telling me I should, being I'm a pothead, they keep telling me I should watch that movie.
It's more psychedelic, but yeah, I guess it's an interesting movie.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. I think it's an interesting movie. I didn't mind it. He has
okay.
He has a new movie. He's been trying to get this movie off the ground. He tried to get Dune a long time ago, and now he's trying to get. Yeah, he was supposed to do The Watchmen as well.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, he was in talks with The Watchmen. It never happened. He was he's been trying to get this movie about Don Quixote, the man who killed Don Quixote, I believe it's called, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so he's trying to get that movie off the ground, and he did an interview with the Independent to talk about the movie, and apparently he went all off.
Yes.
He went Liam Neeson.
Yes,
he went full
exactly.
Liam Neeson. Yeah.
He went Liam Neeson on this shit. Yeah. He probably talked 2 minutes about his movie, and then he Liam Neeson the rest.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. Interesting. I find it funny. He went on about Harvey Weinstein.
Yep.
And he went on about, I guess, white men having it bad.
Oh, man, having it tough. I mean, being blamed for everything, everything wrong with the world.
He said, I understand that men have more power longer, have had more power longer, but I'm tired, as a white male, of being blamed for everything that is wrong with the world. When you have power, you don't take responsibility for abusing others. You enjoy the power. That's the way it works in reality. So basically saying hey, motherfucker, stop bringing this shit up. This is what we're supposed to do. Yes, genocide and slavery, all that shit. That's how it works.
That's the world we live in.
Stop crying about it. Which is ironic that he's crying about having to hear people cry about the pain that his ancestors caused.
That's what irony means? Okay, yes. No, I keep misusing the word irony, so that's why I'm like, okay, yes. Yeah, it's funny. Bitching about the fact that he's bitching. And in the end, he tells us that he's, black trans lesbian?
Yeah, it got weird because he was saying he was something about being black trans woman or something like that, right?
At the end, yep, that's what, what's the word? Yeah, black lesbian in transition.
Yeah. He was like, I'm a black lesbian in transition.
Who's defending white men.
Yeah, good for him.
Shit like that.
And clearly done sarcastically. Look, I like Terry Gilliam. I liked his movies, but I mean, this is
You know what I like? The old men never fail to disappoint. They never fail because just a couple of days before, I guess Meatloaf said some shit about Greta Thunberg about how climate change isn't real and something. Like they got to attack this poor girl, whether you agree with climate change or you're a normal human being. You know, you don't have to attack a 13-year-old girl. But this is
go after the girl who's going to have to face the consequences of climate change. But
exactly. Mm-hmm. So this is this interview made me laugh because it's probably from these type of people, like the type of person that would say this. This is like probably the most honest interview. Like for me, if he said this to me, I'd be like, okay, because he's not denying white supremacy. He says it's perfectly there. What he's saying is stop bitching about it because that's how things are.
Is that like that friend who told? Is that like that friend who? Oh, wait, hold on a second. Is that equivalent of saying, "Hey, come on, man, pull yourself by your bootstrap"? No, you need to catch up to me.
I don't know.
Sure.
I don't think that's it. I don't think it's about like.
It's
not even a question of power imbalance in this, right? Like it's just shut the fuck up. That's all he's saying. It's just like I'm tired of. Hey, look, yeah, my boot's on your neck, but, you know, shut up about it. You're making me feel bad about my boot being on your neck. Like, I'm tired of this. It's supposed to be on your neck. There's no, like, hey, pull yourself up by the boot. He said, there is for women, because he said something about, what did he say about women?
The Me Too
he said this is a quote about when he's talking about Harvey Weinstein. He said, there are many victims in Harvey's life, Gilliam said, and I feel sympathy for them. But then Hollywood is full of very ambitious people who are adults and make choices. We all make choices, and I could tell you who did make the choice and who didn't. I hate Harvey. I had to work with him, and I know the abuse, but I don't want people saying that all men. So
make a point, homeboy.
Well, I mean, I guess his point is like he knows. I guess he's trying to say that, you know, basically women are whores in Hollywood. Right. And he's also been abused by Harvey Weinstein, meaning he probably didn't get money for a budget of a movie or some fucking something, and he's equating it to like sexual assault.
Oh,
it's some sort of fucking like, you know, I didn't get like a certain amount of money. He's like, that's like sexual assault.
Oh, that's like, yeah, okay. There are winners and losers in this game. That's his, okay. That says.
But at the end of it, like he keeps sticking to the point of. Like, because he says, but I don't want people saying that all men. So he keeps sticking to the point is like, hey, stop being mad at me.
Hey, you know what? Shout out to the people who hate this show, this podcast, listening to it, and using it as advertising for Terry Gilliam. So you know what? That's what's pissing you off? I'm going to watch more of his shit. Because I get the feeling we're promoting this dude and everything. But here, first let me start. I'm gonna make a statement that's probably gonna get us canceled again and shit like that. Okay, bear with me, and I hope we can still be friends after this statement. All right, okay. Man, motherfuck Monty Python. All right.
Oh my god, you're gonna have nerds right at your door.
Yo, bro. So I work with nerds, and they keep making Monty Python references.
Jesus Christ!
And I gotta like play it off. Hey, no, I didn't see that episode. And the truth is, I've never got into Monty Python, and I used to blame the fact that, you know, I grew up with French people, but even the French nerds know Monty Python, motherfuckers.
My thing
so
with
I couldn't get their support on that shit. But I never got into. The only thing I know about Monty Python is that always look on the bright side of life. Which, by the way, Terry Gilliam should, you know, consider doing the same thing. The bright side of being white.
He should. I was like, you have to sitting around like that sound like having to listen to people do Monty Python lines. That's like white dudes talking about hockey, right? Like that's like you're subjected to this shit. Oh man, I don't know. I like Monty Python. Like I do. I really enjoyed it. But I enjoyed it and it's done. I don't think I'll watch it again. Like it's fine. Like I watch a lot of I watched all the movies and everything. But yeah, the quoting and stuff is just like
yeah. They did that on a regular and and then I have the heart to tell them that, hey, or I think it was just I just wanted to be accepted.
Yeah.
So I faked an interest in Monty Python.
You faked an interest in Monty Python. You're like, oh no, it's amazing. You just start making up lines.
Or just laugh. Yeah. That episode. Yeah. Oh my God.
But the French kids, were the French kids into it or something?
All I know is I remember using the excuse, I grew up with French people, so they were into that shit. And of course, they went, motherfucker, no, I watched it. Fuck you, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I remember doing that when Knight Rider first came out. I wasn't allowed to stay up past 9 or something like that. It was like the first episode of Knight Rider. And I remember the kids were talking about how like a fireball blew out the back trunk of Knight Rider, and I was like, "Yeah, I love that part. That was the best part of the show." What else did you like, Gavin? I got to go to the bathroom. Yeah, it's survival. It's survival instincts, because if they knew you didn't listen to watch Monty Python, forget about it.
Exactly. That's why I caught up quick, and started watching the new shows like Seinfeld.
I just remember Monty Python, the naked guy playing piano. It always blew my mind. I was like, why is there a naked... Like, it was just a random... Now for something completely different, and there'd be a naked guy playing piano, and I just thought that was hilarious. As a kid, I thought that was the funniest thing ever.
As a comic, is it a bad thing for me to say that I'm not into Monty Python? I never got into it?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Some club owner is going to be, we were about to book you for a series of shows, but what the fuck?
I don't think you've been in clubs lately. It's the farthest thing from Monty Python.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I figured,
it's not Monty Python at all.
It's like going to church and saying, I reject the Bible. Whoa.
No. It's more like clubs are more like A&E evening at the Improv. You're fine. You'll be okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll be okay.
That's all I need to know. Okay.
I was the Terry Gilliam thing does remind me of what's his name, Liam Neeson. That I'm gonna hunt. I walked around Ireland for a week looking for black people to murder. It's that rare moment of anger and honesty.
Yeah,
because you're in an interview for your movie. And you bring up this shit? Like, it has nothing to do with your movie. Why are you bringing this up?
Bro, yeah, it's like he had some bad day or whatever. Or you know what? Or he just read some script from Neil Gaiman. Hey, look, you trying to promote this movie? Oh, and it's bad? Okay, well, here.
Well, also, like, think about, like,
play the white card.
he's making a movie that he's been trying to make for 10 years. Like, he's an auteur. He's making a movie that he's been trying to make for 10 years. Like, think about that.
Yes.
Think about like trying to make a movie for 10 years, right?
Gotcha.
Like the level of a soft life that you must have. That your job for a living to breathe and live on this planet is making a movie. And you've been trying to do it for 10 years. You haven't made a movie in a while, and you're trying to make this movie. It makes perfect sense that he would equate what, Harvey Weinstein did to him, which I'm pretty sure isn't sexual assault. I'm pretty sure it's some he probably got snubbed, or probably didn't get a budget, or some sort of movie thing happened. It's some sort of like Hollywood business shit happened. It's only that level of softness could you equate that to sexual assault.
That's what's up.
Yeah. Also, like to complain that you're tired of, as a white man. Yeah, we have all the power, but I'm just tired of hearing about me having all the power.
Hey, man, when you first suggested talking about this, one of my first thoughts was crossed my mind is I was trying to force myself to be sympathetic to his feelings about feeling like this oppressed white man, or I'm a white man who's being blamed for everything wrong with the world.
Okay,
and I say, and this is coming from a guy who, look, I'm the kind of guy, I'm going to say some weird shit right now, right? When it's really cold outside, I think of my poor car that's out there bracing the cold, and sometimes I wish I could put a blanket on it. You know what I mean? My car, an inanimate object. I'm unable to relate to what the fuck this dude is saying. I'm trying,
be a good cowboy. Because you take care of your horse, right? Your horse is out there. You put a blanket on your horse.
Yeah, man.
Exactly.
But this dude,
in this day and age, you're just out of your mind. Like, you want to put a blanket on your car because you're worried about it being cold outside.
Pretty much.
I'm following this analogy right to the end. Keep going.
I know you ain't dissing my analogies. I'm just saying. I mean, okay. Okay, I remember in my less enlightening days, the closest I could come to is listening to a podcast, and the theme was listening to a podcast and it was with these feminists, and the whole time I'm listening to it, I was just defensive the entire way. I couldn't process anything they were saying, and it was just making me.
What were they saying?
Just, like a reasonable shit. Just, but they were probably, they were probably doing the same thing we're doing.
What specifically triggered you? Do you remember or no?
I can't remember. I'm just. This is me just trying to say this is as close as I can get to understanding this white man's outrage.
Yeah, but okay.
But
I see what you're saying. I see what you're trying to like. Because it's just kind of like analyzing the brain patterns of toxic people. But like, I think part of my problem is like this dude is like also rich,
filthy rich. Yep.
He's like rich, and he's so far from reality, like so goddamn far from reality. The art, when I said this, is the most honest thing that someone like a boomer like him would say. Like it's an honest boomer thing. Yes. Like usually they would deny racism in the first place, right? Like we're used to like someone going, everyone's complaining. All these PC SJWs complain about white supremacy or that there's misogyny or whatever, and it's not. Show me where this. You know what I mean? They usually deny the existence of it. Mm-hmm. Where he's embracing he's like, yeah, I'm comfortable in my power, but shut up. Like I don't want to hear about it. Like I don't want to hear you guys complaining about it. And I find it weird. Like a guy that makes a movie like Brazil comes to this conclusion. It's like, oh, do you have brain rot?
Do you have brain rot? Yeah. And the thing is, he from what I read, he made it sound like he's being a genius. Like I know people are gonna be upset by what I'm about to say, but what I just said.
Yeah, because that's the other white myth of like everything that falls out. Like that's a culture. I mean, when I say culture, but white supremacy that it's based on intelligence. They studied our brains.
There we go. Yeah,
right. Like they studied our brains and how intelligent, and then they measure how intelligent we are. Mm-hmm. So they think everything that flies out of their fucking mouth is like it's some sort of fucking every single one of them. It flies out of their mouth. It's some sort of. We talk about it all the time. Some white dude comes up to you and says some. Oh, well, actually, you know what I mean? You're like, oh, motherfucker, okay.
Bro, man. Yeah, that's I don't mean to intentionally hurt their feelings, but, I mean, it's I don't need you to swallow your pride, homeboy, but you're an expert in these things, but when it comes to my reality, holy shit, you know nothing.
Right.
You know the single thing.
How many times does that happen where, like, a white guy comes up to you and it's, like, telling you, well, actually, like how many conversations have we had on Facebook where actually, blah, 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 and you're like, I'm telling you something you don't even know, and you're talking back to me like I don't know it, like or your own reality. They're telling you how to interpret your own reality.
I've been having a while back an encounter with this white dude, and I couldn't figure out why the shit he kept saying was bothering me. Mm-hmm. And I realized he was like, it was part of it is because he kept making a lot of assumptions about my life and always figured he had the solution for it. It's like, you'd probably benefit if you like smiled at cops. Shit like that. I don't know. He would say stupid shit like that, whatever, right? Life would be easier if, didn't have a chip on your shoulder. So
that shit. I've had that shit just too.
Little things like that. And at first I'm like, why am I upset at these, just the serious words? What is it about it? Like, I got to think these things through before I realize, oh, wow, this motherfucker thinks he owns me.
Yeah. Yeah, he thinks he owns you.
Hey, by the way, so I just googled Terry Gilliam's net worth.
Yeah,
and according to this, he's the richest of all the Monty Python
I'm sure.
cast members.
I mean, he's directing movies, so he's producing movies. He's got to have money.
Maybe there's anyways, yeah.
Well, I mean, but see, that's the thing about Jordan Peterson and all these people and everyone that complains about PC culture and shit like that. All these people that complain about this shit are so soft because they'll complain about like, oh, they're tired of safe spaces and shit, but that's exactly what they want, is a safe space.
A safe space for themselves.
I like the idea of I want to say whatever I want. I want to have the like this. I should be able to say whatever I want whenever I want. It's like, okay, cool. But then that means other people can say whatever they want too, right? No,
exactly.
He's saying no. I know. Shut the fuck up. I just let me go on and say whatever I want. Let me have power. It's like it's such a narcissist thing to say. Like this is the thing that bothers me about all of this type of stuff, is that it's the I want to do damage to you, and like, you shut up. Like, I don't know how many people in my life I've encountered in my life who are like this. I remember. Okay, so here's an example. I was at a dog park once, and this woman was whipping a ball around for her dog, but she would like whip it without looking, and she hit me once. And I'm like, first time, I'm like, she's like, oh, sorry. And I'm like, it's okay. Then she did it again. Like, she almost hit me the second time. And then she hit me, and I'm like, she's like, oh, each time she says a sorry. And I'm like, each time. And the third time she hits me, I'm like, hey, maybe you should look when you're throwing the ball. And she's like, ooh, do you have to go to the hospital or something? I'm like, well, then why are you apologizing?
Oh, wow.
Right? You just did something to someone, and then you're upset when someone calls you on it?
Finally reacts to it. Right, man. What the fuck, lady?
Right? There's no personal responsibility. There's no self-reflection. There's no introspection. It is like, don't challenge my fucking status. Shut the fuck up. It is the epitome of white supremacy to say, hey, to say what he said, to say, like, hey, we do have power, but you guys need to shut up because it's hurting me when you talk back to me.
Oh, man.
It's like your pain means nothing to me. My pain is way more important. It's like Donald Trump. Donald Trump is always upset. He'll go around putting fucking fingers in everyone's soup, but as soon as someone like breathes on his, it's like the end of the goddamn world. It's such a narcissist. It's such an entitled point of view. It's entitled. It's the thing that irritates me the most about human beings.
Exactly. I agree. Yeah, I think certain what's the word you use? Narcissist. Selfishness.
It's entitlement. It's like it's like the like I said before about like all these white shooters, and I'm like, well, a lot of people deal with mental health issues, but why are white men shooting? Because they feel they can deal with their mental health issues on the public.
Yeah,
that's why. Anytime you take a life, you're being entitled.
Yeah, which is what's his face did again.
Who?
Donald Trump.
Oh yeah.
But that's okay. That's a different story.
Oh, that's a supreme entitlement. Like dude goes and murders someone because he's under investigation. Imagine you had that kind of fucking power anytime you got a parking ticket. I was just thinking assassinate some motherfucker in the Middle East, and then all the attention's off you and your parking ticket.
Bro, imagine the kind of shit you would be. Okay, I'll speak for myself. The kind of shit I would talk if I had the backing of the U.S. military, man.
Yeah.
Holy fuck. I dare a bouncer to not let me in the club.
Yeah, it's not even supposed to work that way, right? Like, that's a scary thing. It's not supposed to work as your fucking bodyguard or your backup.
Exactly.
It's not supposed to work that way. It's supposed to be like checks and balances.
You know what I mean? I can't get in with this tracksuit?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. You'll hear about it. All right. Hey, in the quotes, there's two other things you forgot, or you didn't mention. He also, you're right. He did go full Neil Newsom because he also talked shit about the Black Panther movies.
Yeah.
And what did he say? He goes, like, completely missed the point. Trashes Black Panthers. It's other bull. And, it's like a fake reality of.
He says it gives young black kids the idea that this is something to believe in.
Motherfucker.
Science fiction and fantasy are all fun and games until you start giving. No, this is the Roots quote. But yeah, it's the Black Panthers utter bullshit and complain that it gives young black kids the idea that it's something to believe in. Yep. God forbid you give young black kids some. Like, I mean, this is full-on mask off interview. I don't even know if it's a parody. Is this a parody? This is a parody.
You know what I mean? It's getting, is this what's, yeah.
This
okay,
is
guys,
a
I'm just kidding.
Borat character. It's 100% a Borat character. Because, like, no one says this unless they're in an old folks' home and their brains are rotting out of their ears. Do you know what I mean?
Word up, man.
This is the dialogue in The Notebook in the old folks' home that we didn't see. You haven't seen the movie The Notebook, have you?
I mean, I don't like to admit it out loud.
You know,
what I mean?
it's okay. It's
Black
it's a
people listen
reference
to this
that, like,
podcast.
in the end of the movie, they show that they've been together for so long or whatever, and they're in an old folks' home and they die in the same bed or something like that.
Yep. Oh, spoiler alert. Yeah.
It's not really. You know how old folks like to have sex. Oh yeah, STDs are up in old folks' homes.
So I hear.
Yeah.
And so I hear.
Yeah, they're knocking boots on. They're bored. They're knocking boots in the old
while
folks'
playing
home.
the song "Knocking Boots" because that's how old it is. All right. Okay. Hey.
Knocking boots. That is how old it is. It's older than that. It's knocking clogs. It's so old. It's so old. It doesn't have laces. They're knocking whatever doesn't have laces. Yeah.
Bitch, you wearing shoes? All right. Good. Where was I going with this? Yeah, man. Yeah. So this Black Panther, and you know what? It's a kind of part of the white man's privilege is being able to say dumb shit like that and be rich. You know what I mean? Like, because to me, I equate him saying that to a black dude saying, the reason I can't get a job is because the white man won't let me work, kind of thing like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, dudes like that are usually unemployed or don't really, like, they're not rich. They're not.
I think
unless they inherited the money.
There's this. I think this kind of sheds light on what you're talking about. In 2018, Gilliam apparently had a hissy fit when BBC control of comedy commissioning Shane Allen, who, in answering a question about an updated Monty Python, said, "If you're going to assemble a team now, it's not going to be 6 Oxbridge white blokes. It's going to be a diverse range of people who reflect the modern world."
Yep.
And then Terry Gilliam responded to Allen saying, "It made me cry, the idea that no longer 6 white Oxbridge men can make a comedy show. Now we need one of this and one of that, and everybody represented it. This is bullshit. I no longer want to be white male. This is where I want to be I don't want to be blamed for everything wrong in the world. I tell the world, now I'm a black lesbian. My name is Loretta, and I'm a BLT, a black lesbian in transition." That's where that phrase. So he's first he says, like, okay, white men have power.
Right.
And then he's like, I'm tired of being blamed for all the problems. I don't. But then who's in charge of the problems in the world if you have all the power? Mm-hmm. But also, like, it's funny because to what you said before, I think there's like there's this thing when you hit 40 and you start where you feel that lack of relevance. Like you're like when you're young, everything you do is amazing. People look forward to seeing you. People like your mistakes are just mistakes. When you're 40, no one gives a fuck. And there's a lack of relevance the older you get. It's just like, oh, okay, until you get to, like, 78, 79 and you start doing shit like dancing and people lose their mind. But until then, you're just like, you're nothing. Now, just imagine being like a white guy who was like who had so much relevance in the culture. And then, like, now it's like, who gives a fuck about you, dude? Like, we want to see Black Panther. Like, there's got to be a loss of power so great for these people that it's just like it only comes out in like Meatloaf complaining about the Greta Thunberg. It's like, yes, it's all you have now, and you're complaining about like white supremacy and Black Panther. Or so PC culture and Black Panther and climate change. But what you're really upset about is no one cares about you anymore.
Oh.
No, I honestly believe it.
I agree with you.
I don't think no one cares about them, but I don't think I think
they sense
know.
it.
Yeah. It's not the same level of relevance that they had.
It's not the same.
Because I feel this way sometimes. I feel this way where you're just like, it's all shit. Everything's shit.
Yeah.
It's just old man fucking rantings with racism.
Yeah, I compared turning 40 to it feels like you're at the restaurant and you're done eating, you paid your check, and everyone's just waiting for you to clear that table for someone else to take it. You know? It's like, come on, beat it, man.
Yeah.
God damn it, die.
Yeah,
just fucking
dude,
die.
You had your meal and you're sitting around reading the newspaper. Move the fuck on.
Exactly, man. Because like you said, there was a movie he took 10 years to make. He could have just focused on that. He goes, nah. I'm going to say some controversial shit. No, in his mind,
and
I'm going to say some real shit.
And also, like, think about the level of fucking privilege. Like, I hate that word, but the level of comfort this motherfucker has, where he makes movies for a living.
Yep.
Like, I worked in a factory, man. I fucking, like, you make movies for, like, and not just, like, I make movies for a living. I take 10 years to make a movie for, and yes, I understand how hard it is and how much work it is, but he gets millions and millions of dollars to make movies for a living. Like, think about, like, at that point, like, dude, you're done. You don't have to worry about shit. You have more than enough money for retirement, for your kids' retirement. You're like, you're done. What are you complaining about? Like, you're complaining about people not liking white men? Just shut your mouth. No one's gonna even fucking point to you.
That it's got me. This is what happens when you reach a point, and I'm watching my words because I'm not so innocent myself in this thing there. But when you reach a point and you forget to be grateful for the awesome shit that you currently have.
Yeah.
I mean, you're always looking at. I don't know. Maybe he's mad at.
But like I guess when like things are common, like if you make movies for a living, you've always made money off your jokes, right? You make millions of dollars. Like I guess when it's common, it becomes like there's a study out there saying that people, rich people, especially elite people. It's not rich people, but people who are accustomed to scamming this, or not scamming the system, but getting things easy.
Yes.
Like for example, like people who have trust funds and shit like that. They grow to expect it. They believe it's earned. Like scientifically proven that they believe it's earned. Like mentally believe that this is earned.
Yeah. Oh shit. What was that? Oh man, what was that show that I watched? Fuck. Who was just saying? Oh no. Okay, I think I was thinking of the Watchmen.
RoboCop.
Watchmen, and what's the villain's name again? Not the villain, not the lady, but the superhero, Vite, Mr. Vite there. And I work for everything that I've earned.
Yeah.
And well, I mean, I'm not familiar with the whole story, but hearing a white man talk about I work for everything that I've earned. I mean, okay, I mean, no disrespect. You know, what about the slaves? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, no matter, you can't get away from it. You benefit from money that's been passed down from generation.
There we go. Yeah. I mean,
it's
who
rarely
am I to talk,
a case someone pulled themselves up by. Who's pulling them? I don't think anyone's pulled themselves up by the bootstraps. I can't think of anybody.
King Solomon. Nope, that's right.
You said that so confidently, too. King Solomon did. I was talking to him yesterday. He's like, he found a crown. You know what I mean? He said, fuck it, I'm going to be king.
Or Joseph. I know a lot of these biblical characters.
You motherfuckers you deal with KFC. I'm going to be king. I'm not working this KFC shift. He quit that day. I remember King Solomon came in. He was apron and hat down. It was like, fuck it, I'm being king. And he left. Then you know what? He became king. I didn't even know I saw that.
You know what I mean?
King Solomon.
700 wives.
700 wives.
300 side chicks. All right, yeah.
King Solomon. I kind of like. There's part of me that's like, I get white dudes like. White people shit on white people more than anyone else. Like white people shit on white people like it's going out of business. I think white people are angry at white people. And I get it. Like liberal white people hate white people, but like I kind of understand what he's talking about. But like I think if I was at that level as a white man, and this is just me. This is just all like what if scenarios. So this is I don't know. But if I was at like I'm making movies, I just made a movie. I'm in a press junket. And I make movies for a living as a white dude. I'm like, I'm not even talking about like. Do you think I would ever talk about race? That's what I would be a fucking like one of those white people that doesn't talk about race at all. If I was rich, if I made movies and I could just avoid all politics altogether, I wouldn't be in politics.
Fuck that shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Politics is stressful.
Matter of fact, you're probably telling yourself, "Hey, I'm going to end racism by not talking about racism."
Yeah, that probably. I wouldn't be around black people. That's for sure.
For sure.
I'm a rich white dude. Why do I have to be? I wouldn't know anything. I wouldn't know any other race. I wouldn't know. I'm pretty sure if I lived his life, This is the thing. If I lived his life, none of this shit would bother me.
Yep.
Although maybe it bothers him because now it's a thing he has to look at, and he feels so out of place with it. Maybe that's what it is.
I worry about growing old and being that guy who's. I mean, if it happens, it happens. But growing old and being the old dude who's out of touch.
Yeah.
With the actual world.
You're going to be out of touch at some point.
At some point, yeah. I tell you about this old lady I had to help. Old white lady I ended up helping. Let me tell you the story about. She was trying to put gas in her car.
Yeah.
Right. And all I'm hearing is beep 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 beep. You know what the fuck's going on next door? And then the cashier through the sorry. The a lot of beeping, and the lady asked me a question, and I said, "Oh no, okay, no, you gotta leave the card inside the machine and then put in your PIN, right?"
Yeah.
I said, and then whatever, and then I go back to pumping my gas, and then I'm hearing beep beep beep, all kinds of whatever, right? And the cashier from the PA says, "I said, sir, can you please help her out?" Gavin, I'm not done. Here's the worst part, right? I'm like, oh, okay. Yo, it got to a point. Not only I didn't put in her PIN number, but you know, okay, she got her whatever is in it. Dude, I started pumping her gas.
That's why you don't see old people in Blade Runner and Star Trek and shit.
Okay, now just to be clear, the thought that went through my mind is because I had just seen the movie When They See Us.
Yeah.
And that scene with that prison guard, he helps out the black kid. Yeah. He says, "Yo," and the guy says, "Why are you helping?" He goes, "Well, my kid is in some prison, and I would hope that some prison guard was looking out for him the same way."
And you felt
and I told myself,
this old lady.
No, I was like, yo, if my mom had that kind of problem, I would hope someone would help her out. But as I'm doing this shit, right, thoughts are going through my head. Yo, lady, please don't say stupid shit like, "Yeah, my butler usually does this shit." But since the divorce, I've had to pump my own gas.
My butler usually does this. The motherfucker.
You know what I mean?
Here's a shiny nickel. Thank you, sir. Thank you, young man. Thank you, boy. Here's a shiny nickel.
You know what I
mean? My butler.
I don't know what she would say. You know what I mean? Don't buy too much of that reefer. Or
I think if you can't pump your own gas, you can't drive. Like that should be the rule, right? If you don't know how to pump gas, like wherever your car stalls out of gas, you gotta leave it there. You're done driving.
And that's what I'm getting. Yo, I'm scared we reached the point where, because I'm seeing folks using their cell phone to pay for bills, right?
Yeah.
And I haven't set that shit up because it just. I'm saying I could do it, but I'm worried like next generation is you got to use your Snapchat account. Some shit like, fuck.
Oh fuck! If they said TikTok, like. Oh, sir, like you're in the hospital in a coma, and they're like, "Hey, sir, you got to use your TikTok account to use this respirator, or else you won't be able to breathe." I'm like, "Okay, well, just kill me because I don't know what is a TikTok. I don't know how to use this shit. It scares the fuck out of me." That looks so confusing. It's like a Rubik's Cube. I'm like, TikTok? No, thank you.
Oh man, fuck. A lot of people are listening to that, man. How old are these fucking guys?
We're in our 40s. We're about to die. They know how old we are. They knew from the get-go how old we are.
Hey,
we did not. We said knock in the... Oh, I said knock in the boots.
We said knock in the boots.
They know at least we're way back in, like, when fucking Jodeci was a thing. So we're at least from there.
Hey, you know what? I think that's probably what success is, man.
What, Jodeci?
Being able to being able to say stupid shit, inaccurate shit like, "Hey, I believe Earth is flat," and it makes headlines.
Yeah, like that's the thing, right? Like, it's like I was listening to a podcast today talking about like the difference between bullshit. Champagne Sharks. Apparently, that's the only podcast I listen to. And they were talking about the difference, but he was talking about Ricky Rawls on the show. Check it out; it's a great show. He was talking about bullshit and lying, right? And lying is the opposite of the truth. So it's in conjunction with the truth. The truth is always around. Bullshit, however, has no truth. Bullshit is just is what you're doing to to hype yourself up or to make currency. Like, for example, getting likes on Facebook is bullshit. It's not a real thing. It's just what you want to present to people.
Right.
And you just obtain, and you just maintain bullshit. And he was saying that we live in a world where we're becoming more and more about bullshit and less about truth.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, the truth is like going away. It's like why we can have a Candace Owens and we have serious discussions. Do you ever feel like? Yeah. I think we talked about it where you're like, I remember when I was watching CNN and they were. It was after Trump said the stuff about shitholes, and they do it all the time. But they had like 3 black journalists or pundits, and then one white guy who was like, I don't think it's racist, and I'm like, they're trying to gaslight me. I know what racism is.
Yo, man.
Exactly. I'm sitting here watching them debate whether what he said was racist. I'm like, why is this happening in the world? It's like when he got elected, Trump got elected, and he was like talking about how the alternative facts, or he had more people. I'm like, are we debating reality?
Right.
Now?
You saw that shit, right? Yeah, exactly.
Like there's that, but that's the thing. That's the thing is as simple as it sounds, simple as reality sounds. Is it can still be debated, right? Like now we live in a time where where reality is like, we're fighting to debate sanity and reality and truth.
Yeah, we go.
And so then that's where you get to, we can get to a point where people are like, I don't know if slavery was that bad.
Oh, yeah, exactly, I mean? Man.
Like that's not far. That's not a far off thing.
Nope.
And so a guy like him could go on and do an interview, Terry Gilliam, do an interview and say all this shit, and then like get press for it, and then people will agree with it or disagree with it, and then but it becomes a truth of sorts. It becomes one of the many like it's bullshit, but it becomes one of them. Like it's a horseshit statement. Like the whole thing is horseshit and just like old man ranty, but it becomes a truth.
Oh yeah, no. There's some people who are willing to die for what he just said.
But even us, because we like even in our world, we have to debate this shit.
Yo, hey, I got one, and I'm sending this question out to our listeners too. Is what do you do? Or what would you do if your coworker, or even better, your boss believes in what he just said?
What do you mean?
How do you he buys into that shit to the you know what, as a white man.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It could be any reality, right? And it happens all the time. Like
right.
Where you've had it where you've sat there with your boss. He doesn't want any questions from you, and you're like, well, no, actually, I want the blah blah blah, whatever it is, and you know your boss is saying some fucking shady shit.
Some fucking shady shit. Yeah.
Right. The reality can be bent at any time.
What I'm getting at is, they tell you, hey, when you're at work, avoid talking about politics and religion, right? But if your boss believes that shit, then he's gonna sneak that shit in. He or she's gonna sneak that shit in some kind of conversation to bring it up. Like I don't know.
That's a great point. Sorry, go ahead.
You know what I mean? Yeah, no. I used to. Sorry, I gotta give props to one of my exes. I don't know what that's her title, whatever, right? But black girl I know, but she used to be strong on fuck it. You're at work to work. Don't fucking avoid like she had that shit down pat.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Avoid politics. Like I wish I could film her at work, not like a creep, but I'm saying like see how she does it, because I always fall for the trap
in the stall. Not like a creep. Sorry, I just threw that in. I'm sorry.
How does she manage, in a room full of vultures? Like, and I believe it because she was very successful in her career. I used to get tips from her and everything like that. And it's like she figured out the office world. At least she gave me the impression.
Yeah, you're right, and that's the thing, right? Like this guy is clearly a boss. Terry Gilliam's clearly a boss, and it goes back to your point you made. It was a great point. The boss, the people in power, but if their politics are like Trump is the greatest motherfucker, they're gonna talk. They're going to talk. Whenever they have the power, they're going to talk like their perspective is the right one. And they're going to be loud and boisterous about it.
Yep.
And if you fucking say some shit, that's trouble. If you say the opposite, that's trouble.
Yep.
It's again, that's where the freedom of speech shit and all that, your PC culture, all that shit, that's trouble. Your girl understood how this system works. Mm-hmm. But see, the system's so fucked too, right? Because like I've seen some people. This is the thing that like people will pray. Like, okay, I was watching this video on YouTube about Harvey Weinstein. I believe it's like 1996 or 1998 Oscars when Romeo is crying or Shakespeare in Love. So Shakespeare in Love. Gwyneth Paltrow wins.
Okay.
And Harvey Weinstein's like a fucking, like, at this point, he's like a serial predator. Like, there's been cases he's been selling out of court. Like, it's not, like, you know what I mean? But everyone shuts their fucking mouth about it because he gets Oscar wins.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's when, like, the truth is, he's a fucking, a sexual predator.
Mm-hmm.
But the bullshit is, we can get an Oscar. Right? And the only reason why Harvey Weinstein, like, after the last Oscars that he was, like, a part of, he didn't do great. And then all of a sudden, oh, yeah, did you guys know? He's a sexual predator. Like, he apparently harassed Gwyneth Paltrow that came out, who won the Oscar that year for a movie he produced. That's the thing, is, like, that's the bullshit I'm talking about. It's like, if you're at work and your boss is like, fucking, let me tell you something about most blacks commit most of the crimes. Right. And if you go, well, I don't know. Because that all of a sudden, because you're walking on eggshells. He's not.
Exactly. Yeah.
The reality is his reality. And the bullshit is that you need the job. Fuck it. That's a great point. Like, that's like, what Terry Gilliam's doing. He's like, he's an independent filmmaker. He's like, I make my own movies. I get a certain amount of people that come to him. So I don't make I'm not Steven Spielberg, right? Mm-hmm, so like I'm covering the people that come see my movie. They don't give a fuck about this shit. I don't care. I can say whatever the fuck I want.
Exactly. And fuck you, you little peon, you peasants.
And then on the other hand too is people are picking up Terry Gilliam's name. And all these stories.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He's a story.
What's that? Hold on. What was I reading on Twitter about this guy? But I wrote Terry Gilliam Twitter responses. I missed. No. Anyways, I'm going all over the place here. I don't get it. But I'm sticking to the whole, God forbid this motherfucker is your boss. And
Terry Gilliam?
And he tries to bait you into in one of his theories. I think I need to the lady who interviewed him. Her name. Alexandra Pollard.
Yeah.
She's got this tweet because I can't say it was a pleasure to interview Terry Gilliam. Yeah, so she's the one who interviewed him in but what's interesting is because again I was looking it up on other podcasts. It looks like he on other medium. He just talked about the movie.
But in this interview, he talked about this
with her. So, you know what? You chicks benefit. I don't know.
Was the other like? I'd be curious to see the demographics of the other people that interviewed him, right. Because that would say something. Like I'm not saying it was, but like I'd be curious to like if it's like, oh, all white dudes interviewed him, and then this woman interviewed, and he's like. Yeah, you know when white dudes just can't like the older ones that just can't. I've been on road trips with comics where they just can't stop talking about black stuff. They just can't. They cannot get
white
past
comics?
my race. I'm talking like fucking like days, like weeks long road trips in comedy where like the whole time they're talking about my race. They can't get past it.
Yeah.
Hey, do black guys do this? And black, you're just like,
man, I get that too. Yeah, man. And me sometimes, I think what gets me the most is feel the need to, bro. You should be talking to a black American. Yeah, they'll be able to answer those kind of questions.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a black Canadian. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I'm familiar with what happens in Canada. You know? And to me, to them, when I say that, is they think I'm he's trying to get me to be politically correct. You know what I mean?
No,
No, I'm trying to
motherfucker.
say my fucking experience is, I really, you know what I mean? I've seen the fucking littlest hobo. I know shit like that.
Well, that's because we're a monolith, right? Like we're,
You know what I mean?
It's like I was thinking about this today. We were talking about in the last episode. We talked about one of the my top 5 moments of 2019 was people complaining about the term white trash and how it's racist. I'm like, at least you have the benefit to separate white people. We're just a monolith,
yes.
and I'm not saying that
Yeah,
like I
Rico.
need to be separated from poor blacks or rich blacks. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying you have white supremacy has the foresight to at least separate themselves
To
on
separate
class
themselves.
lines. Like it's like go fuck yourself.
By the way, this is a video I just recently shared. I meant to bring to your attention, but this white Southerner, he talks about the term white trash, and the part that stuck with me the most is, let's just realize that it's just a word they created to make to insult poor people.
Yeah, that's it's a class. It's a class.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
We just that thing. So
Yeah.
just you know what I mean. Let's come on, man. Remember what the fight is against. But anyway,
But
that's a different.
it can only mean that, right? Like if I'm white and you're white and I call you white trash, that's not a racist term. The problem is the trash part. We're both white. I'm white. I consider myself white, and you consider yourself white. It's the trash part.
It's a trash.
It's
That's
logical.
I'm better than you. Yeah. I have more money than you. You know what I mean? My wife fucks better than yours. Whatever, but
So this guy wants to call himself Loretta, a BLT, a black lesbian and transgender. I wonder what, like, I guess maybe does he want like a MAGA people coming out supporting his right wing people coming out supporting him? Is that?
hey, he's gonna get it. He's gonna get it.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean? Right now-
they'll support anything that fucking backs up their horrible worldview.
Hey, but, hey, that's their Don Cherry right now,
Yeah.
right? Right now, we're getting mad at someone's old grandfather. Say, hey, man, just let him say his shit. All right, look, he's getting old, you know, and just stop reacting to the bullshit that he says.
They're so easy. Like, what Diamond and Silk, is that their name? All you gotta tell black. What kills me is they're so in costume. Like it's just everything's in costume. All you gotta tell these people is like this. If he wanted to get his audience wherever he wanted, that's all you gotta say is this shit, and then your audience is. Fox News is going to be like, old man says some controversial statements. That's the thing. It's just old man ranting. Like if we really look at it, like we're getting mad at the problem is that we've put old people on the internet. This is what happened. It's like a video. It's like someone made a YouTube channel of that woman trying to pump gas. This is what we're just looking at. We're watching old men say shit on the end. I don't know. I don't like white men being. Of course, you're an old man. Of course, you don't like white men being called out on shit. Of course, this is the thing. It's like it's not even. You can't even get angry at this shit. It's just so ridiculous.
Hey, it's surprising that the shout out to the Simpsons. Unless I missed the episode, but like Simpsons could have used a lot of opportunity to get Grandpa Simpson to say a lot of racist shit.
Well, that's the thing is like like Roseanne when she said her stuff. It's like, Tim Allen. Why can I say nigger? I don't know, Tim. Like say it, Tim. Go ahead.
Think about it.
But it's not that you can't say it; it's that you want us to look the other way. This is all their complaints. It's like, why can't I have everything?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
with no consequences. It's not even why can't I have everything. Why can't I have everything with no consequences? I'm rich. I'm popular. I'm famous. I have power. Now I want to say the N-word too, and I want you to shut up about it.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Come on, man.
This political
help a nigga
correctness. I love them. I love old. It's just old people. It's just like fucking old people saying some shit. You gotta love it.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, I'm worried about getting to the point where I get old and I'm out of touch and I'm surrounded by people who are like, come on, man, old man.
Everyone's going to take
die.
away your
Jesus
fucking
Christ.
social media accounts.
Just die.
They're just going to slowly, your grandkids are just kind of, that's enough. That's enough, B. That's enough, Grandpa B.
Yeah, go take a nap. You know?
No
Time for
more
a nap.
Instagram. No one wants to see what you're eating in your IV.
You know what I mean?
He's a foodie. They're gonna pull it all away from you.
I know what's gonna get their attention.
I feel bad for old people like with this digital age. It's gotta be confusing as fuck.
Word, man. Hey, who knows what's gonna come up for us, man? Shit.
Yeah. It's gonna be a crazy time for us. That was part 1 of our conversation. You can listen to part 2 on Patreon at patreon.com/theuncolonized. Please check it out. $5 a month, you get 8 episodes a month, and including this one that we released, the second part of this episode. Anyway, without further ado, go look at that. This is the end of this episode.